Well, good afternoon, folks. It feels almost poetic being back here after the international break. I actually get to talk about Scotland. There we go. Back. I'm still in that mind frame, Kenny. Talk about Rangers as Rangers get ready to take on Livingston at Ibrox in about 45 minutes. I am obviously joined by the Peaky Blinder himself, Kenny. Kenny, how are you, mate?
I'm doing really well. Just I'll try and get through this the best I can. As I said there off screen, my wee 2013s were playing today, so my throat's gowping, but we'll try our best here.
Been absolutely screaming all morning, and then Kenny's like, I'll jump on. So there you go. Kenny's going to be no talking at all day. I wonder which one it is. Is it me with the haircut, Kenny with the flat cap? Not a clue. So a few changes that were necessary today then, Kenny. Obviously, we'll talk about the starting 11. We've got it on the screen there. A few changes that were absolutely necessary at the back. But is that pretty much the team that you thought was going to get put out today? Butland, Tav, Giga, Fernandez and Magoma, Diamande, Raskin, Asgard, Ant-Man, Gassama and Danilo?
Aye, pretty much. Depending on how we go and if we start doing the game to the best of our ability, we're maybe up a couple of goals. I would really, really like to see Curtis, mate. I'd like to, try and bring him back on because he's a good wee player. Giga and Fernandez, let's see how they go together. If Giga plays a blinder, we might be worried about Soapy playing alongside him. We might be blaming the big guy for the wrong thing. But if Fernandez plays a good one, it's nice to see Nisiala on the bench that might be able to come over and maybe fill that void.
Fingers crossed. I mean, it's going to be a big day for Fernandez. I mean, Giga's not been in the greatest of form as of late. Fernandez having to go in is pretty much a necessity because we've got no other centre-backs. Nsiala's going to be massive if he comes off the bench. There was one player that I thought he might have made the bench. There was a lot of chat from our side that he might make the bench, but he's not. Dujon Sterling, is he just not ready to make the bench, do you think?
I think the talk in the chat outside, I think even Danny Rule had said, rushing this might be the wrong thing to do. In fact, there's a lot of you said it in the podcast, the ones I was listening to, I wasn't on, that you were saying the same thing, weren't you, Alex? You were saying, listen, rushing him's going to be a bad thing today, especially the length of time he's been out, because he's such a good utility player in many different positions, especially along the mid or the back. So I'm quite happy with that. He might be, do you know something? If you don't rush him, this might be a genius move coming towards the business end of the season if niggly injuries start raising their heads and he can play in different positions.
I mean, it'd be mad to rush him because I think if you put him in, he's going to get minutes and it's going to take one opportunity to get him injured and he's back out for 6-7 months again. So for me, Dujon has to be almost put in there in a game by game. If he gets a couple of minutes here at the end, go for it. Like what we've seen with Fernandez. I think Fernandez came on for, was it Cornelius or Giga about a month ago, and he only got it was about 10 minutes he got, and that's what we need to see from Blinders. That's what we need to see from Dujon Sterling. Do we think it's a 4-4-2? Get it, a 4-3-3? I'm seeing a lot of folks saying it might be a 4-3-2-1. There's quite a lot that could be in the squad today, but if you're
kind of keeping a 4-4-2 begin, I don't think it's going to be a 4-4-2, 4-3-3 maybe. But he likes the 4-2-3-1, doesn't he? So it might well be up top Danilo on his own, which is probably the most obvious possibility because he's played it before. It's hard, isn't it? Livingston, that kind of team, part the bus, smother the back quarter of their own box and all this carry on, man. It's just, these are the games that when you were trying to chase a league, that these are the ones you would must scrape wins. You need to batter them trying to get an opening. So it'd be interesting to see if the international break has maybe engulfed the overlapping runs for Ant-Man again. And maybe so many times he's drove it through down the throat the two using Gassama and Ant-Man have to overlap constantly, and allow the back three or whatever he plays to come higher and defend for the top. Time will tell, Big Enough, because we know fine well that if he starts cutting back, it's going to make life a lot more difficult if we are playing sideways and back too much, because it's going to play into Livingston's game plan, as they usually do.
100%. I mean, the comment that was brought up there for Keith Gillespie, I will get to that one. Martin's brought it up, and I will bring it back up. There's one I want to bring up before we get to some of the gifted that have been given. Great Wall of Canada, no Conor Barron. I mean, he's not even on the bench. There's a comment from Jordy asking the bench. The bench today: Liam Kelly, Clinton Ciala, Max Aarons, Joe Rothwell, Nadine Bayrami, Lyle Cameron, Conor Barron's on the bench, Finlay Curtis and Bojan Miovski. So for me, I'd have probably, in my opinion, I don't know about yourself, Ken, I'd have probably put Conor Barron in front of Mohamed Diamande. He was away with Scotland, never played a minute, didn't get any game time on the international break. So for me, he would have to be starting. Conor Barron had a good few games. I thought we say that he was probably man of match for the games he played, and he's right back to the bench. Do you think it's maybe just tactical from Danny Rule, and we will see him for a good portion of today? Maybe he's a bit more comfortable having the midfield three of Diamande, Raskin and Asgard.
Aye, it's confidence building with this. He does see it as a challenge, but no a challenge as in a Hearts at home or a fucking Hibernian away or anything. So he's going to try and get these players that he needs back firing at the top of their level. Your Asgard, Ant-Man, Diamandis, who were really good, apart from obviously Asgard and Ant-Man. I mean, Diamande was a better player last year, so he's maybe trying to see if they can give them the chance. He always said that, didn't he? Listen, all of your squad, there'll be specific times in specific games where they'll get more times than not. I would love to see more and more of Lyle Cameron. He's one of the most technically gifted young Scottish talents. We've got to start playing him. I think he's one of my favourite players. I just think his balance is unbelievable, both sides. But unless you start... These are the games where, Alex, I believe you could make your 4 subs, your 5 subs, if you get the game out of the road very quickly. If the doors open quickly, we get 2 or 3 up, you can minutes, things like that. So I'm hoping that's what he's thinking, mate.
I mean, when you actually look at it, Kenny, there's every one of those players, I mean, bar probably Aarons and Rothwell right now, every one of those players, you'd actually like to see them get some game time. The comment that I said I'd bring back up would be like, in Ciala, I'd love to see a game time. You'd love to see Conor Barron get some game time. Finlay Curtis, Bayrami, I agree. The biggest player there for me has to be Lyle Cameron, though. I think that I'd love to see Lyle Cameron get game time. He needs it. It's going to be interesting to see the comment there. I think we'll struggle to score. I hope I'm wrong. It's going to be a massive opportunity today for Danilo, because Livingston, as you said, they'll pack that back line. They'll go 11 men behind the ball, sit there and hope that they don't have to move out. And that's what we usually will see from Livingston side. There's a reason why, Kenny, they're bottom of the table.
Aye.
But they do concede a lot of goals, but they make it difficult.
Aye. I mean, Error 404 has got it nailed. If you don't start getting goals from midfield, right wings, when your forward players are starting to cause a bit of unrest between the back 9, probably, at Livingston, you've got to start seeing players shooting from outside the box and maybe messing it up a little bit. They're expecting us to try and pass our way into that goal. If we could start to maybe be a bit more unorthodox in what we're thinking, overlap sometimes but cut in sometimes, hit a shot from outside the box sometimes but play the short pass sometimes, always mix it up. You're going to confuse a team like Livingston at what you're going to do in individual circumstances with man marking, which Livingston will do. They'll allow the game to come to them. I'm really, really worrying about the goals. That I completely concur with Error 404, because I'm like, Danilo is only going to be utilised the right way. If he's the one moving the defenders about a bit, so we can get the higher midfield or the wingers to come in and maybe cause problems. So I do know why he commented like that, and I feel his pain. I'm hoping that we get a couple of sneaky wee goals for long range.
Fingers crossed, mate. I'm loving that comment, by the way. The Peaky Potters, that's what you're
Potters,
naming it. Peaky Potters, that's you. I'm loving that, by the way. Trying Scotsman, I did bring it up while you were getting in a bit it, but you look a mix between Harry Potter and the Peaky Blinders, the Peaky Potters.
I've got a few scars, but I'm not getting into
that. I think you're right, though. We have to be taking the opportunities today from outside the box. Too many times we are concentrating so high, Kenny, on getting the ball in the middle, and it's like trying to get as close to the goals we can before we take a shot. There's going to be so many opportunities today to just hit one from range. We don't score enough in this team from range, and it's going to be interesting. The one player that I want to touch on before we touch on the some of the guys that have joined the gifted memberships and Danny Rowe is Dilo Asgard. Does he deserve a starting place after recent performances? A lot of people have asked the question and said that they're not really confident with him being in the middle. Does he really deserve a place over the likes of your Lyle Cameron, your Bayrami, your Finlay Curtis? Because he's going to be playing in more of a forward role today. Yeah. It's an interesting one to ask. Should it be Theo Asgard, or is it because he's come in as the summer signing that he's getting this opportunity to try and prove it? Does Danny Rowe see something that we don't?
It's a terrific question, isn't it? My answer, just personally, is Lyle Cameron's in there all day long, right, as an attacking threat. Because he's statistics for Dundee, the couple of seasons he was there, he knows the league, he knows how to maybe unlock a really, really tight defence from a Dundee point of view. Now, if you're unlocking defences and you're playing with Dundee, you're doing something right? So I think Asgard should be the one trying to fight into the team. And by the way, see that Asgard, he's a second season Rangers player. He's just getting used to it. The guy's got phenomenal ability, by the way. He's just trying to find, sometimes he goes a wee bit too much, a wee bit extra yard, or he holds it a wee bit too long. But that's one of the things that you learn about. How many times have we said in this podcast the Scottish League is an anomaly? It's completely different than anything they've ever played in their life. So I think he's a second season. I think trust me, he'll be a player. Whether it's here, I don't know. But it would be Lyle Cameron for me and Asgard coming on for him, because Lyle knows the league. Lyle's statistics were really good for Dundee. And I think Lyle's got that intelligence to know when to open up a pass. That's just personal for me.
No, I feel agree with you, mate. So, listen, what we're going to do, we're actually going to hear from the manager, the head coach, whatever you want to call him. We're going to hear from Danny Rowe on his thoughts on today's game. So, let's go hear what Danny Rowe has to say.
The supporters behind us, I think all the things what we want to see from our team today.
I know in the international break, Danny, Livingston in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. What kind of game are you expecting here today?
Yeah, at first I'm very happy that we can start again. I think this is important. I feel the energy from my group. Of course, the opponent, they will try the best. They will also try to be hard to break. I think this is important to understand the game. But of course, for us, it's just one direction. We want to win this game. We want to play with intensity. We want to play forward. We want to bring straight the supporters behind us. I think all the things what we want to see from our team today.
I know in the international break there obviously were a number of players away, but did it give you some time on the training pitch with the others that were there?
Yeah, of course, we worked very hard with the players. They were in Glasgow. I think this is crucial to work with them, give them opportunities, spend more time with them with a smaller group. That helps a lot. Of course, I'm now happy that my players are back from the national break, very successful. I think it's great. We have some injuries, but now it's time for also some other players to step up, fill this empty position, and take the opportunity.
Yeah, you touch on those injuries there. A few changes in the team today because of that. How big is it, the opportunity for the players who come in now?
Massive. I think massive. I think this is sometimes as a player you have to wait for such a moment. It's not a nice moment if it's an injury from your teammate, but if something happens, then you have to be ready. This is what I expect and demand from my players today, but we want to play good as a team. I think we have 11 players on the pitch. We have good players on the bench, and I think it's about teamwork. It starts with the 11 players, and normally it's finished with different players at the end of the game.
You mentioned the good feeling with the group as well. Obviously, the 3 league victories before the break. How important now is it to build on that?
every game is important, every next win is important, and I think this is what we want to try. We have a big job to do. I think we want to try to close the gap step by step, and 4 wins in a row would be fantastic. Maybe a clean sheet, good goals for the supporters, but we know it will be not easy because every opponent will try the best, and for this we have to be careful, but we have to go with a lot of self-confidence, belief, and I think we should know where we are. And this is what I want to see from my team, a team who is really able to go in such a game and feels we can do it by our own.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm pressing all the buttons there, but that was a bit of a whoopsie there, pressing the wrong button, and I'm sitting listening away, wondering what you're all wondering about what's going on, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, I've actually not unmuted the screen, so there you go. It just shows that I'm getting it on the background from Martin, getting the hands thrown up in the air because I've actually not got the sound on, so we're all good. I will say before Kenny even gets a yellow card, you're muted, by the way, mate, because everybody will pull you up for it, so don't worry, that was me. But aye, just before you get it, makes everybody
you muted me.
This time, right? But mental. I do like the fact that one of the biggest points from Danny Rowe there was, as Jordy says, it's self-confidence and belief in these group of players. Yep. And I think that's massive because there's been some good results under Danny Rowe, but there's been some really, really poor performances as well from individuals. I don't think as a squad we've been that poor under Danny Rowe, but individuals have. So he wants to obviously see high goals, a lot of goals, and actually the players to go out there and put on a show for the fans today. He said pretty much the same thing, Kenny, every single time, that he wants to put on a show for the fans. And I think Danny Rowe actually does get it, doesn't he?
I think it'll be a popular comment when I say not a lot of people are looking at Danny Rowe as being any sort of problem whatsoever. I think they're looking at maybe certain players aren't or couldn't be maybe in his team if he had the funds that other managers had before him. I think there would have been a different squad, a different mentality. I think Danny Rowe speaks well. I think his actions are good. I think when the game's not going his way, he's making substitutions in the right areas before I even say it, which was that's rare when fans are watching it saying, I would maybe put him in there. And just before you come out with it, he's already on it. He's putting it wherever. So I'm looking forward to January to see what he's thinking. But you're right, Alex, you're totally right, mate. There's 100% players in there that kind of blow hot and cold. And I think Danny Rowe gets it that here you can't do that. You know, you've got to be 100%, especially in the league, all the time. So I do think we'll win. You know what I mean? I do think we'll win. It's just how the players can overcome and adapt to a team that's going to really park the bus and try and hit you in over the top. And I'm hoping Giga and Fernandes can nullify that so that it gives the midfield and the attack the confidence to maybe make a wee mistake now and again before they get the ball in the net the other side. Do you know what I mean?
I do think there's something in the way that Danny Rowe makes the substitutions and then he's able to speak about the fact that it didn't work. So I think, was it Dundee? We were 2-0 up, cruising in the first half, makes 3 substitutions at half-time and they don't work. They killed all sort of momentum Rangers had, and we weren't able to go on until late on in the game. But he come out and spoke about that, and he says, listen, they didn't work, but I want all my players to be able to play that way, regardless of the minute. They all have to come on and show the same intensity. And I think that's what he's talking about with the self-belief and the confidence, because if you're getting a chance to come off the bench, you need to be going for it, not just sitting there and thinking the game's already by, so you actually don't need to play. And I think he's probably having a bit of a dig at some of the players up top who are not getting the goals for the amount of chances that they're getting. But as you're saying, he's also trying to say to that defence, you know, we need to relax a wee bit. Obviously, we've got Tav and Magoma who have become pretty much the regular fullbacks. But Giga and Fernandes, Giga not so much, but Fernandes has been thrown in there and been told, right, you need to go out and actually show why you're going to get a start, because we only have one other centre-back, Kenny, that we can throw in there, and that's Inciala, who hasn't been seen since he got hooked after half an hour at Kelly. So there's a lot riding on the fact that Fernandes works, because he wasn't bought for pennies. He was 3.5 million, and yet we've seen him only in pre-season and for 10 minutes of a game. So it's going to be massive for every player today. And as you're saying, I know it's Livingston, but we still have to go out there and win.
In regards to Fernandes, the boy's got to be given a chance before we make that decision on him. So it's nice to actually go and see him. It's no lost on us as well when Danny Rule said that he said to his players that at least half the game they're going to get a chance. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you now, the way he goes on, that's him basically saying, I'll give you as much as I can, but come January and next summer, if I still don't see it, you can't come to my door and chap it and give me any arguments that you deserve to stay here. And I think that's what's still going to happen against Livingston. I think the positions and where they're putting the players and all the rest of it, he's building the confidence as best he can. He's giving these players the chance they've got. Yes, the back two, the chances came because of injuries. I get it. Mm-hmm. It's also a learning curve for us as fans and Danny as well to say, listen, I've gave you as much as I can, so don't be surprised if I buy a centre-back or two or a striker because you're really only doing it. So, and he's very smart in the fact that he's saying, I've gave you everything I can. It's no lost on us. He's had a lot longer with him because of this international break. So who's to say they don't come out here and actually something clicks? Because that's probably arguably the longest time he's had collectively with the players since he arrived, probably on his own. So it'd be nice to see maybe what he's done long term. He seems relaxed. The guy seems to seem relaxed a lot, but it does seem kind of bubbly, as if, right, I've actually had some time now to actually completely work with him constantly. Yep. And there was a comment about Barami. It's crazy how an internationalist is not getting a chance, but if you've watched the international games he's played in, there was one he scored as well, right? But he doesn't offer much either in the international. He's getting played, but he's not offering. So I think I'm just glad we're seeing something rather than nothing from the previous manager, probably, and hopefully this continues.
Definitely. And I mean, there's a point here from Paul. He's asking, will we be seeing Tav take all the set pieces in? Hopefully not, because we've now brought in a set piece coach that's actually hopefully going to be showing everybody that they can take a set piece. I spoke about it and I laughed about it. That the fact, was it yesterday? Yesterday I said that hopefully we don't see Tav sprinting the length for the pitch just to take a throw in. And we actually can have confidence in other players, didn't it, Kenny? So hopefully, because we've actually seen, I know he's not starting, but Connor Barron's got some delivery on him when he puts a corner in. So there's players there that can do it, but it just seems to be we're only relying on Tav. Tav has to be the man to do the lot. If he's not, it's not going to work out.
Mm-hmm. And there was that little comment, wasn't there, in one of the tabloids where Asgard's apparently got some shot on him, Alberts-esque in free kicks. So if that's true, we've got to diversifying what we're doing. We can't be, as you said, every Rangers fan that we've ever spoke to, every Rangers fan that we've ever had in a pod or we've all spoken to podcasters, we always say that. Why are you slowing the game down and waiting to have running along or across a park to throw a ball in when it should be quick? If you're on the attack, at least keep the momentum going because you're just killing the game. So hopefully, not just the set pieces, we might see a wee bit of change in tactics when it regards to free kicks and throw-ins for me, mate.
Now, I'm not saying, James, that Tav is not the best set piece taker because he's shown he's got a delivery on him. But I agree with what Kenny's saying. See the fact that it's like we can't take a quick free kick because we need to wait for Tav to get over to take it. We can't take a quick throw in because we need to get Tav over to take it. I think what we're saying is it's just about trying to change it up and look a bit different. And I think that's why we're saying that we're not saying Tav can't take it. Tav's got an excellent penalty on him. He's got a free kick that he's shown in his locker and he can put the balls in. I just think that sometimes the quickness isn't there. I want to just bring up a few points. So at the start of the show, Spinning Bird Flip gifted one of the memberships to somebody in the chat. So Spinning Bird Flip, thank you very much for that. That was quickly followed up, Kenny, from 5 from our very own Andrew.
Oh, very good.
Another 5 as well. And Ian also joined as a YouTube member as well. I think Ian was a member before, so it must have just been a renew of a membership. And then there was a wee £5 super chat from the Spinning Bird Flip. Stick your goal up your arse. Don't know what a goal that'll be, but we're not there yet. And there's just one other wee point I want to make before we get back to Rangers. And it's a point I didn't think I'd have to make on a show just before we get into a game, Kenny. But it's anyone found making racist, sectarian, or homophobic comments will be banned immediately. The fact it's 2025 and Martin needs to post it is pathetic. I mean, there was comments in the show that were quickly caught, banned, and deleted, Kenny. But it's silly comments that they've no need. In this day and age about the colour of the skin of the players that we've got playing. what does that matter? That they're here to play for the football club, and it shouldn't matter at all. But the fact that we have to put a post out and then ban folk on that just shows that it still needs to be spoke about, and it's never going to go away. So if you are making any type of comment like that while on the show, it will be a straight ban, and there's no even any thought about it. It's just going to go.
Yeah, listen, we all bleed the same, mate. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter about anything else. And I think sometimes, hey, listen, it's very, very rare. Let's be really honest here. You know, we're saying that, but it's very, very, very rare. So anyway, and I'm sure that the staff at the back will be quite. We're gonna have to see that call them that. Eh, I'm the owner, and if I'm the owner,
the owner in the back, the staff.
They're very, very quick to the admin to get rid of it and move on. So we'll just do the same. Eh?
Exactly. Right. And let's see. There was another comment. Here it is. Here, Magoma's going to need some support in January. Robbie Fraser was a bit of an idiotic sale. I do agree with JD, because right now, I know we've got Dujon Sterling, but he's not obviously starting. He's not playing. He's not fit enough to go in. So we have one starting left back at the club right now, Kenny. And there's been no talk of even looking at another left back. It's a bit idiotic to put all of that hope on Jayden Magoma's shoulders.
Mm-hmm. So you and Martin especially have been screaming about the youth. Okay, if there's a B team or an under 23s, man, now is the time to put your left back in there right now. Because if you unearth a gem, then you've done it in the right circumstance of the fact that we're struggling at that position. We've now got defenders that could play there who's now away in Cornelius. You're never in your life putting Fernandez or Gigo out there or Soapy. So now's your time to recruit from the youth and bring them up and sit them on the bench, and if anything happens, bring them on. You might end up with a Curtis scenario where he's a bit of a player. So for me, you've got to start using the academy now, because we've got no transfer window, loads of injuries, one player in that position. The substitute position player, Cornelius, is gone. You've got to go to the youth and bring him in, at least sit on the bench just in case.
No, definitely. Paul, Max Aarons is on the bench. I would just say he's more of a right back than a left back. He has been played on the left, but if we're talking about their natural position, his on the left, on the right, sorry. So we've not really got it. But I mean, a lot of people are obviously talking about the set piece coach. Sterling could be back in as a holding midfielder rather than a right back. He's not going to be the left back, but I do, and that's what we're saying. We've got really none that are actually there to cover Jayden Magoma. It's either Tab gets thrown over there or we bring on Aarons. Nsiala could play, but again, he's one of the classes more of a centre half. Right, Kenny, before we go then, what's your score prediction for today? What are we thinking?
I'm stealing somebody's in the comment. 3-0.
3-0. I'd love it, because it's the fact that it's just goals in it. I'm going to say, I think we'll concede a dodgy goal. I'm going to say 4-1 Rangers. It wouldn't be like us to not concede a dodgy goal. So I'll say 4-1. But I think that we've got all the opportunity here, Kenny, after an international break, just to go and stamp our authority against this Livingston side. We've obviously got a game midweek as well to worry about. So we need to go out here and get back off of the international break and get back to league duty. Yeah.
I think the headaches were coming thick and fast when we had a new manager, new formation, new thoughts, new philosophy. International break was a welcome little piece. I'm very, very glad and happy that he kept the results coming as he was getting up to this break, because previous managers or past managers would have struggled with the pressure that was involved in that to begin with. Never mind putting us third position and blah, blah, blah. So, let's get back to basics, get a wee 3 points, keep the boat moving in the one direction till we get to the January transfer window.
No, definitely, and I'm just ignoring some of the comments that are coming in because it's just having a go. But no, there's a load of scores coming in, so a lot of guys. Let's get it. So we've got 3-0, 3-0. Trying Scotsman's going to give us all a heart attack here with a 7-1 to the famous. Sniper just wants a win. Era thinks we're going to get a Fernandez 1-0, another 3-1, 4-0, 3 of them with a set piece, another 4-0. So there's loads of scores coming in. Just a clean sheet. 4-1 Gassama Miovski if he comes on, and a clean sheet and at least 3 goals. So a lot of goals there, Kenny. Hopefully, if we do get to see it, just win. But what we're going to do, we are. Oh wait, Mark wants to bring up a great point. Where we go. I hope Ant-Man can get back into the strength of this game. Fingers crossed, because Ant-Man, when he came at the club, Kenny, phenomenal. And under the Russell Martin coaching, he has completely fell away. But we started to see signs. He obviously scored a great goal on international break, playing off the left, not off the right. So it'll be interesting to see what we see from Ant-Man today.
Yeah, we talked about it at the top of the show, didn't we? That he's kind of been a bit not the same player as we signed, but also when he goes back to international duty, he's overlapping and he's getting assists and he's scored as well. So I'm hoping with that time in the break that we're starting to see the guy who we brought in, because he was like lightning when we first saw him. He was head down, right at you, made left backs and centre backs bottle it to try and come and cover him, which means space came everywhere else. And again, let's go back to Gassama. Gassama, the Sheffield Wednesday guy, was talking about him on the pod with Ian, wasn't he? And he said that he had no end product. He had the running, but he never done anything with it. When Rule came in, took him a good few weeks, Gassama started getting the end product. So let's just hope all this starts coming together in the next couple of weeks.
No, fingers crossed. So what we're going to do, folks, we're going to leave it there for today. The Martin will be back with your watch along at, I think, 5 to 3. He'll be back today to take you through Rangers v Livy for the watch along. I'm waiting him in the comments because he's going to go off his nut when I've said that. But it will be myself as always. I'll be back for your watch along 5 to 3. And Kenny and Martin will take you through all the reaction to the game. I think it'll be about 5 o'clock. It'll be, Kenny, maybe just after. So
6,
is it 6 o'clock? There we go. So if you can, leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That would be great. And if you want to become a member of the Rabble, the details are below. The link is in the comments. You can join up for as little as $1.99 a month, and you'll get access to all of the members' content. So thank you very much, Kenny, for joining me on this show today.
Just a quick one, 6:30. Sorry, just so they know.
I've changed that time about 4 or 5 times there. So there you go. 6:30 the show will be for your reaction. And there you go. It took him long enough, but there's Martin with it. What? So he is thinking that he is coming on. But we will be back for your watch along in just about 10 minutes. So go get yourselves a wee break. And then Martin and Kenny, as I said, will take you through reaction. But until then, folks, thank you very much for joining us today. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.